Welcome back to the show, everybody. Great to have you here today. Can't wait to talk with you on our Friday review about 2 brand new research studies. Was reading over some excerpts, which I love to do every single week, and decided to dive deeper into these 2. Many people worried about their eyesight and vision as they get older. I've got 3 individual nutrients that have been proven to help counteract cataracts and vision-based issues. And no, it's not lutein and zeaxanthin, which are amazing as well. We've talked about those in previous shows. Couple everyday items that I hope that you're not deficient in. And then another one on postmenopausal women and reducing oxidative stress. Why does that matter? Well, a lot of women that I work with in my practice, as they start to hit menopause or right after menopause, they actually start to say that I feel like I'm aging faster. All right, I've got 2 things that will help you to reduce that oxidative stress and, as a byproduct, slow the aging process. All right, that's our 2 research studies for the day. We're going to get to those. But of course, we always bring you a product review and a book review. Today is no different. One of my favorite books that I've recommended in the past, but a new updated version with like amazing graphics and checklists and all that I had to get to you because it's really excellent. And the other one, I like to practice what I preach. And I just opened it up. And so I'm going to share this device. What I'm using in my house is just, it looks like this small little, I don't know, the size of a small cell phone. And you keep this in your house and it measures a certain gas that I want to talk to you about that is invisible, but it can be detrimental to your family's health. So I just got it and I'm setting it myself. Of course, I wanted to share it with you right away. All right, so let's dive right into the show. I know that we are getting into the holidays. It is well, Christmas is always the 25th, but it's a little later, Hanukkah this year. So I hope that you are enjoying the holidays with family, with friends, with loved ones. It's one of my absolute favorite times of the year. I love just the slowing down, at least for a small period of time, and the excitement, of course, and anticipation of the new year. So I hope you're doing well. Hope you and your family are safe. All right. Up next is the podcast review for the week. On Monday, we went through, are you burnt out or just bored in life? Check out that show. I literally share with you how to spot the difference, 5 simple questions. 2 of them share that you're burnt out. 2 of them, so 3 share you're burnt out, and 2 of them show that you may just have lost the passion for what it is that you might be doing. And I talk with you about how to get both back, your energy and or vitality for life. All right, on Tuesday's show is the root cause of histamine intolerance or mast cell activation syndrome. A lot of talk online in the social media ether about, histamines being the root cause of XYZ. Histamines are not the root cause, just like inflammation's not the root cause. There's something certainly to be dealt with, but I want to help you find the root cause of what people are calling the root cause, which is not, right? So why do you have higher levels of histamines? Why do you have greater levels of mast cells? So I talk about that on the show. On the 3rd show of the week, which is Wednesday's show, is how to store, or how your body stores sugar and burns it for fuel. So it's an important show to know. It basically goes into, are all carbohydrates bad? No. How many can you eat per day? I share with you essentially how to figure that out, and then how we burn them for fuel. So that was on Wednesday's show. Yesterday's show, on Thursday, we talked about the only type of mushroom supplement that you should be using, how to look for heavy metals, how to look for yeast mold, and then what part of the mushroom you want to use. That's it. So really simple, really straightforward, and then all the different benefits of essentially the 8 main mushrooms that are the most... Well, yeah, they're basically the most powerful, they're trending the greatest for a good reason, because those ones have really good clinical scientific validation behind them. All right, so those are all at stephencabral.com/podcast. You can find all of those shows. You can search for them, and if you ever have a question, you can't find a show, just write in at cabralsupportgroup.com. We'll help you find it. All right. First product review of the week is this tiny little old school cell phone device. If you're not watching this on video, I will describe it to you. It's basically the size of the palm of my hand. And what it does Again, I don't have any affiliation with this product, but it's by Air Things. I purchased this right on Amazon. I will link it up at stephencabral.com/3241. I'll also link up the research in today's book review as well there. But this measures radon gas. So radon gas is an invisible radioactive gas that comes from the ground and gets trapped inside of our homes. And I did a show, which I'm going to link up on today's show notes as well, of the different heat map around the United States of areas that are more susceptible. So, for example, essentially there are pockets, but all the way from around Texas, the lower states, Louisiana, Florida, and then up the coast until about the DC area, North Carolina, are lower risk. However, there are pockets of medium risk. And then once we go over towards California and the south as well, medium risk. And then as we start to get north, so let's call it Midwest, all the way to the north to Maine, we're in pockets of high risk. So here's the thing. This long-term exposure of radon gas can cause lung cancer, especially with children being more susceptible. So long-term and daily monitoring is essential to keeping your family safe from this deadly gas. All right, and again, I'm not someone that likes to spread fear. This is something that I was concerned at with my family. Radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer, right? So not all lung cancer is caused by smoke. Radon is the second leading cause. Radon causes 6 times more deaths than house fires and carbon monoxide combined. Living with high radon levels is like smoking 10 cigarettes per day, according to the EPA. That is a crazy statistic. So I don't love to learn a whole lot of new, gadgets. If I'm like, it's one more thing. Here's how this thing works. So it's calculating right now, which is going to do over the next 6 to 24 hours. All you do is you pull a tab out from the battery insert in the back and it goes to work. You do nothing else. I love technology like that. So it already comes with 3 batteries, 3 AAA batteries. You pull out the tab, all of a sudden the machine starts to work. You measure, you just kind of move each day, you can move it around to a different area of your house for the first week. It starts to work after 24 hours. It gives you a reading, but then the more that you use it, the more it's calibrated, right? So it's calibrating over that week, kind of like an Oura Ring or anything else. And it will let you know if the levels ever rise. And if they rise, that's when it's time to be more concerned, and then you can start to get rid of this radon gas, okay? So that's the nice thing. If you have a basement, you can obviously test the basement, but if nobody's in the basement, not as important as the living area, right? So my house is essentially on one floor. So we got one floor, living area, pop it right in. I'm not necessarily in the highest risk zone, but that doesn't mean that this, I don't know how much it is. Let's call it $40. For this monitor, I can keep this in my house for peace of mind, which I really like. All right, I'm going to link that up, the one that I use. There are other great ones out there, I'm sure, but I'll just link up the one that I'm currently using right now. All right, book review of the week. I have recommended this before. I recommended an IHP Mastery, which is starting in January, which is essentially a life coaching certification for health coaches. And it really is helping people overcome their biggest challenges. Now, we reference a lot of books, probably like 30 to 35 books inside of IHP Mastery, all sorts of standards of care, etc. But this book right here by BJ Fogg, he's out of the Behavior Design Lab at Stanford University, a behavioral psychologist, I believe. He wrote a book. It's not recent. You may have heard about it. It's called Tiny Habits: The Small Changes That Change Everything. It is a good audiobook as well. Okay. So I'm a reader. I'm not as much into audiobooks. One isn't necessarily better than the other, because if you're someone that is more, someone that learns better from listening, great. I like to actually see, and that's how I retain information better. But some people aren't, and that's okay. Why did I want to bring this book back up to you? Well, first of all, it's this. It is that, and I'll open it up right now to just a random page. There are so many great illustrations inside of this book that make learning much easier if you are a visual person. So we've got literally, there's drawings on probably every 5th page. There's charts everywhere, high impact behaviors, low impact behaviors, talking about which zone to be in. And then there's a couple big takeaways. You're just saying I don't know if this is the right book for me. BJ goes through called Dr. Fogg. I don't think I've ever heard anybody refer to BJ Fogg as Dr. Fogg, but let me be the first. He is a PhD. He is a doctor. And so we go over steps in behavior design. So BJ lays them out in 3 main categories. Steps 1 through 3. Clarify the aspiration. What are you looking to achieve? Number 2, explore the behavior options, meaning we need to take action somehow. What can we change in terms of a behavior? Number 3, match with specific behaviors. We talk about this in IHP Mastery. It's all about habit stacking. What are you already doing now that you can add just a little bit more onto? That's the first step. Okay, that's the first part of the 3. Design is start tiny, the smallest behavior change. He talks about something as, I thought it was hilarious, like brush your teeth. You want to add flossing because you know that you should, floss only 1 tooth, right? That's the smallest thing you could do is if you want to start flossing, you can floss literally 1 tooth, right? So it starts so small. So someone who's afraid of training their legs with exercise. They always train their upper body. They're worried about training their legs because they have bad knees. They have whatever. Okay, you're going to do 1 exercise and 1 rep only and only 1 set of a squat. And you're going to squat down towards a chair and you're going to stand back up and that's it. That's how starting tiny. Then the next time you go to do it next week, you're going to do the same exact exercise, only 1 set, but you're going to do that twice. And that's it. And you're going to start doing that each and every week. That's it. Starting tiny, right? Tiny habits. All right. Number 5 is find a good prompt. So that's basically the cue of like, okay, when are you going to do this habit? Number 6, celebrate success, right? So it's so important. I talked about that on a previous Mindset and Motivation Monday. Stop moving the goalpost on yourself. Do not keep changing the goal. Achieve the goal, and then you can set new goals. And then the 7th is how to troubleshoot, iterate, and expand. So I've listened to BJ speak in a private tutorial before. Great thinker, great doctor, great PhD. It's a great book. It really is. Like Tiny Habits, super easy. If you're looking to make a change this year, I don't want to give the whole book away. It's a good book to get. I'll link it up. All right. So that is Tiny Habits by BJ Fogg. Now let's get into the research of the day. So vitamin E, B6, and niacin have been shown now to improve cataracts. Let me give you a little background on this. This was out of Thorne Research. There wasn't their research. They took it out of, a current study out of NHANES 2005 to 2008 data. 180 million individuals worldwide suffer from vision-based impairments. 46% of those individuals have cataracts. So about 85 million or so individuals, which is a huge number. And so here's what they found from just a little over 7,000 Americans that they analyzed. The presence of cataracts, was determined as well by a low, normal, moderate, or high intake of 3 specific vitamins. Now, is this the only thing? No, I'm not going to say that it's not. But I like to show you how deficiencies can lead to worse outcomes later in life as we become more and more deficient. The first one is vitamin E. Why? Vitamin E is a very powerful antioxidant and it's needed for the smaller capillary and vessels in our body. Vitamin E is needed for our heart, it's needed for the cardiovascular system, needed for the eyes. And then B6 and niacin specifically needed for eye health. Now, some of this is because of stress, some of this is because of the nervous system, and some of it we don't exactly always know. But these 3 nutrients were needed in order to have less of a risk to not be essentially 1 out of 2 of those individuals who have eye issues who then have cataracts. So I wanted to pass that along to you. You don't need to supplement with these individually. That's why I say that to people. You can use a good daily activated multivitamin. You can use the daily nutritional support. That's going to give you your full day's worth of vitamin E, B6, and niacin. And if you need more B vitamins, you can use something like the activated B complex, which just covers you by taking 1 of those at lunch, 1 at dinner. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward, but it led to a 15% decreased risk of contracting or developing cataracts. And I thought that was very, very important to look at. All right. Next up, let's go over second and last study of the day. This is on oxidative stress in postmenopausal women. Let me get to the excerpt. But the symptoms that these women came in the study showed a range including sleep disruptions, hot flashes, muscle pain, and increase body fat. And they called it a redistribution. So moving more towards maybe the midsection and hips. It also showed decreased antioxidant capacity as ovarian function declined, showing a need for additional antioxidants. Okay, so this was a random double-blind trial conducted through the peri and post-menopause clinic of the Institute. Well, let's see. This was in Mexico, and it was done over 12 weeks. The women were randomly assigned to one of 3 treatment groups. One group got 500 milligrams of resveratrol and a placebo. And then there was 500 milligrams of resveratrol plus 500 milligrams of vitamin C. And then there was the straight placebo group. Participants provided blood samples and anthropometric data before and after the supplementation period to evaluate any changes in stress markers of oxidative stress, insulin resistance, and antioxidant capacity. All 3 groups experienced improvements in lipid and protein oxidative damage as indicated by decreases in oxidative markers, right? This is why the placebo effect is so powerful, right? These people thought they were taking something, so they still even improved a bit. However, there was increased representation from the resveratrol plus vitamin C group compared to the resveratrol or vitamin C alone. So, placebo still got some results. Individual resveratrol and individual vitamin C got a little bit better results. But when they combined resveratrol and vitamin C, they saw a far greater results in the antioxidant stature, meaning lowering oxidative stress and a biomarker for aging in postmenopausal women. So I thought this is pretty impressive. The dosage that we typically recommend without providing any medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, medical diagnosis is about 125 milligrams per day of the resveratrol form, which is much better absorbed. And you can get more, but oftentimes more is not better with this particular product. If you're going to use a higher dose of resveratrol, at least err on the side of caution, and then you might use it a couple of times per week, like 1 to 2. That's what it seems to be on the safer side. Now, again, could it prove out that a half a gram to 1 gram a day might be best? Sure, but there seems to be detrimental side effects, at least in some mice studies with high dose resveratrol. Again, I'm going to keep my mind open to this, but for right now in our practice, we use about 125, maybe 250 of resveratrol. And then for vitamin C, 500 milligrams, that's on the lower side that we see, but I think that that's excellent as well. No issues there with vitamin C. And we use in our practice about 1 gram to 2.5 grams per day of vitamin C based on needs. Not super high dose, not low dose, but simply there to help counteract oxidative stress, especially as we age. The product we use is called Cell Boost that has the resveratrol, the nicotinamide riboside, and many other great anti-aging based nutrients. And then vitamin C if you like capsules and food-based more. We use full spectrum vitamin C. And if you like a little higher dose, we use alkalizing vitamin C, especially if you have digestive based issues such as acid reflux, etc. All right. Hopefully this was helpful. I will link up the research as well as the radon meter and the Tiny Habits book at stephencabral.com/3241. Have an amazing rest of the day. And as always, if the show was helpful, do feel free to share it with anyone you believe it could serve. Take care. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything. Functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.